Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and as most of you probably know, George Washington was the first president of the United States. And prior to that, he played a pretty important role in the fight for independence from England. So needless to say, George Washington, he's done a lot of great, really important things for this country we live in, the United States of America. But apparently not everybody in this country sees it that way. See, there's this group of community members out in San Francisco that are trying to get two portraits of George Washington that have been up for 80 plus years removed from a local high school. All right, and the reason that they're citing behind this whole thing is they're saying that, these pictures, they depict African Americans and Native Americans in a really negative light, so we want the photos taken down. Okay, look, you got to understand, this is the history of the United States of America. This country's been around for, more than 250 years roughly? And I mean, heck, not everything that has happened throughout the history of this country is perfect. Not all of it was good. There were some mistakes that were made throughout the history of this country, but fortunately, you know what we did? We learned from those mistakes and we made corrections to some of the errors that we were making, and we were better off in the long run for it because we were able to say, okay, these were the problems. We've recognized the problems. We're addressing the problems. We did address the problems. We were able to move forward and act in a much better manner as a result. You can't try and forget about your past. I mean, you can't go and tear down statues and take down portraits just because it triggers a few people. No, because if you stop talking about your history, if you do everything you can to just bury your history to try and hide it, well, guess what? Then future generations, they're not going to know about our history. They're not going to understand that, okay, these mistakes were made, but we realized that they were mistakes and we corrected our behavior going forward. No, there's the very real chance that future generations are going to make these same mistakes that were made in the past because they were never told these mistakes were made, and they were never told, okay, we realized it was a mistake, but we righted our wrongs. You have to continue to tell your country's history. You have to tell the good along with the bad, plain and simple. So these individuals who are trying to say that the portraits that have been up for more than 8 decades of George Washington, a man who did a hell of a lot of good for this country, should be taken down, it's absolutely absurd. These people are short-sighted. They are absolutely foolish in what it is they're saying. And to make matters worse, do you know what school it is out in San Francisco that these community members are trying to get the portraits of George Washington taken down at? At George Washington High School. The school's named for him, for goodness sakes. You don't go taking these photographs down. It is absolutely absurd this is going on. Was George Washington perfect? No, he wasn't perfect. Spoiler alert, nobody who's ever walked on this earth this side of Jesus Christ was perfect. But he did a hell of a lot of good for this country. So you know what, for all you damn ingrates out there that are going to go complaining about George Washington, that are going to talk about how horrible he is because he made a few mistakes in addition to all the great stuff he did, no. Just cut the crap. You should be thanking George Washington. You should be thanking him because it's very possible without George Washington, we wouldn't have this country we call the United States of America, a country with all these great freedoms where you can live in freely and espouse all of the nonsensical things about people like George Washington that you're currently espousing. It's all the time that we have for today and for this week, but tune into the John Muir Show again on Monday, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. WSAU and WHBL. Till next time, I'm out.